All right, we're here in our second match. I think we got to mull this, just the one lander, even with the anticipate. Although, I mean, I would like to keep this hand, but I think we mulligan. I think we'd best mulligan. All right, this one's very good. Double Whirler Rogue. We're going to keep that on top, actually. Just guaranteeing we get our fourth land will go a long way here, I think. Shambling Vince for days, son. All right. So, Sky Spawner into Whirler Rogue. Not too shabby. So, Abzan. Good deck. Classic. Ooh, read the bones. All right. Opponent's getting all sorts of value here. I imagine a Siege Rhino is OTW. Thopter Engineer. Well, that's actually interesting. Could go Thopter Engineer into Whirler Rogue. It's a little more aggressive, isn't it? Isn't it? Doesn't give haste to my Sky Spawner. I think we'll still do Thopter Engineer. Kind of like it. Let's get the beats going. Then I get to go Whirler Rogue into Whirler Rogue. It's not bad. I even get to go Whirler Rogue. No, I was going to say make my Thopter Engineer unblockable with it. That doesn't actually make sense. We'd rather just attack with the Thopters. Shambling Vents, something we got to worry about. There is the Siege Rhino we were expecting. Ooh, Wild Slash. Alright, well, can burn face at some point. For now, let's get Mr. Whirler Rogue down. And get in with some more Thopters. I mean, at least we can block a Shambling Vent. Taking our medicine here. Let's see the second Siege Rhino, perhaps. Wingmate Rock. Well, that's a bit more intimidating. Negate. Let's go land. Guess we can go Sky Spawner, leave up Negate and Wild Slash. It's probably in our best interest. So now we're going to do some blocking. What kind of blocking? I'm not exactly sure yet. Guess I can go Sky Spawner, 2 tokens on a Wingmate Rock, and then these 4 on the Siege Rhino. Doesn't seem terrible. I guess I have wilds. Well, probably gonna have to negate though. All right, let's stick with our plan here. So let's go Whirler Rogue, Thopter Engineer, Token, Scion, Sky Spawner, Thopter. And we'll leave up the negate in case something gets hairy here. All right, opponent is reorganizing blockers, letting things happen. All right, cannot negate that. All right, let's go Whirler Rogue. Leave up negate and Wild Slash again. All right, let's take out the Siege Rhino again. I think we're going to have to find some other means to kill the bird. All right, guess we can negate that. See what we can draw into here. Island, not quite good enough. Can't really attack either because of that shambling vent. So disdainful strokes come in. I think negates come out. Even though negate stops Gideon, so does disdainful stroke. Just seems better for us. It stops most of his deck. Roast can deal with Siege Rhino, so those will come in. Wild Slashes will come out. All right. All right. So sideboard. Let's go Roast. Let's go. Ooh, I guess Reality. Well, Reality Shift's probably not good enough, but Disdainful Stroke's got to come in. And then, do I want Thopter Spy Network? It might not be good enough. I think Clash of Wills seems like a great card for this matchup, though. Opponent is paying a lot of mana for things. Being able to leave up counter is probably pretty good. So let's get rid of these wild slashes, and then I think we dump the negates, and that looks like a deck to me. So we've got a nice counterspell package now. Not much in the removal department, but we do have the Rose, which hopefully is good enough. And Ghostfire Blade on a Vile Aggregate. Actually, Vile Aggregate just blocks Siege Rhino, which is actually pretty good. So let's try this one again. I think this looks okay to me. All right, I'm gonna play first. Yeah, I mean, gotta keep this. Anticipate makes this a keep. Start off with Evolving Wilds, finding our blue mana. All right. So that's a good Wild Slash target, but not going to worry about that yet. So let's get our island. And we're not going to play the second Evolving Wild here. Now we just get to leave up Clash of Wills and anticipate. Ooh, Vile Aggregate's actually a pretty nice draw here. I think the problem is we're not going to be able to play it on turn 3. Or I guess, no, we can, because then we can leave up Disdainful Stroke. Okay, sounds good to me. Plus Vile Aggregate blocks Warden of the first tree, so Vile Aggregate actually looking pretty reasonable here. Surprisingly reasonable. Let's see if our opponent just pumps the Warden. I guess I'm okay with that. Oh, not even pumping the Warden. Got it. Second Warden of the first tree. So I can Clash of Wills that. Do I have to? Probably not. I think we have bigger priorities at the moment. So anticipate, find some goodie. Ghostfire Blade, yeah, we're going to use it. So let's take it. Ruination Guide's not bad either. Let's go Vile Aggregate. Pass. Then we get to go Evolving Wilds, play Ghostfire Blade, leave up Disdainful Stroke and Clash of Wills, which is pretty good. It's going to telegraph a counter, but that's okay. So the nice thing about this is, yeah, my opponent actually couldn't attack with both, or they could, but whatever one I block, he would have to pump that, which means my opponent would only deal 1 damage to me, which is not, in fact, that intimidating. Whirler Rogue's a good draw, but not quite ready to get there yet. So we go Evolving Wilds. Let's just crack it now, find our second red mana, play the Ghostfire Blade, and pass. So if we get another land, we can play Ruination Guide and leave up our counters. Otherwise, we might have to chill a little bit. I cannot Clash of Wills that, so I assume we're going to take a bunch of damage here. Guess it's only 3 damage, but still. I assume we have to play Whirler Rogue now. Yeah, not thrilled about it, but I think it is the play. So setting ourselves up for a Siege Rhino, which is unfortunate but unavoidable. I think I actually double block a Warden. That way, if my opponent pumps it, it can't play a Siege Rhino. So we'll double block one. Like I said, this lets us leave up our counters for the things we actually care about. Yeah, this will accept. Because now at least we can equip our Thopter and leave up Disdainful Stroke and Clash of Wills. All right, let's go land, equip, and pass. Wish I could do something about that. Unfortunately, I cannot. So pumping, playing around the counter pretty effectively here. So, I mean, we're in big trouble, but opponent had some really good cards and just was able to execute a game plan that is completely different from game one and is super effective against us. So just like in game one, it was all mid-range creatures. It was all mid-range creatures and just won through value. Now game two, it's all cheap creatures and win through cheap spells I can't counter. So just one of those things that I have no means to play around. All right, let's go like this. Let's equip the Ruination Guide. I don't think I can beat Warden of the First Tree now, which is a tough spot to be in. Definitely a tough spot to be in. So I don't think we're dead just yet, but we're going to be pretty close. So we got to take 4 here. Yeah, I don't think I can beat that, unfortunately. That's tough. It's a tough spot. I wish I could do something about that, but that's just one of those things. Even if I were to play Whirler Rogue, I don't have nearly enough toughness to stop a 14 power guy. All right, you got us. That was a tough one. Wish we could have done a little bit better there, but that's definitely a tier 1 deck. So I think that surprisingly that deck actually seems beatable. I know that seems ludicrous saying with a deck like this, but that I never really felt completely out of it. Where I felt out of it was because like I said, in game one, he played a bunch of mid-range stuff, which we would have had the answer for if we'd seen our disdainful strokes. And then game two, we saw our disdainful strokes, and he beat us with all of his early game. So it was just one of those circumstances where it was like late game beat us when we didn't have the counter spells for it, and then early game beat us when we did have the counter spells for it. So just a kind of weird distribution sort of problem there. But like I said, I actually think our deck can beat his, oddly enough. But maybe some slight tweaks. Vile Aggregate, like I said, actually seems phenomenal in that match, so might up that count. The reason I don't have 4 Ruination Guides in the deck is the 2 toughness for 3 mana could be a problem, but maybe I just need to bring both of those in up to 4. We'll see. All right, one more match for this series, and we'll call it a day.